Hello, gamers. So I recently watched the first 3 episodes of Trigun Stampede, and me and my brother are both fans of Trigun, the original anime, and I've also read the manga Trigun and the Trigun Maximum thing, which is like kind of a sequel-ish, but it's just kind of more of.
They were gonna call it Trigun Magnum, but then they found out about Magnum condoms.
What? Is that true?
No, I made that up.
But anyways, Trigun Stampede is the new anime from Studio Orange, who also did Land of the Lustrous and Beastars, both of which look fantastic. And Trigun Stampede also looks fantastic, which is the best thing I think I can say about it right now. It looks amazing. The animation is fun and crazy, smooth, and the expressions are all great. They do funny faces and stuff, and all the designs and the characters look really cool and stylish, except for that one dude who just looks like a normal dude. You'll throw him on screen.
I will? Alright, I guess I will.
Yeah, I don't like him. But he's, it all still looks good. It looks like the Guilty Gear games got an anime.
They did get an anime. It was called Guilty Gear.
It was called Guilty Gear Strive Story Mode. I haven't even played the story mode. Anyways, so first, I found Trigun back in like 20-something, 2000. I don't even remember what year it was. It was one of the times we went to Vegas.
It was back when you started on AAO.
Oh man, so it was probably like 2012.
Because yeah.
2011, 2012.
You made your first YouTube debut where a guy made fun of your portrayal of Vash.
Oh yeah, put that on screen. Do it right now.
What was that called?
It was Crossover Central.
Crossover Central. And some characters don't show up at all. What?
Yeah, that was my first claim to fame.
So whenever Crossover Central happened is when you found Trigun?
Yeah, so that was probably like 2012, 2011.
I remember when I thought the cross gun was the most awesome thing ever. I didn't say badass back then. I was a good little boy.
Yeah.
What happened to me? but yeah, I was like, oh man, that's so crazy. It's a cross and it's a machine gun. And now I look at that
and I'm coolest gun. Anyways.
Now I'm older and I look at that and I'm like, that must be hell on his shoulders.
Damn, that thing's heavy. That, my friend, is because it's so full of mercy.
Yeah.
Hell on his fingers.
It's so impractical, but it's the greatest thing ever. But anyway, that's what Trigun's all about, is being super awesome and having really cool story characters and themes that are extremely good. Anyways, so that's where we know Trigun from. We watched the anime, and I've read the manga also, because I don't remember why exactly. I must have seen it and thought like, oh, I've seen this whole, vintage thing lying around, and I was like, might as well check it out. It looks cool. And I got probably one of my favorite animes out of it. It's about Vash the Stampede, a humanoid typhoon, a guy so dangerous that he regularly destroys cities and has a $60 billion double dollar bounty on his head. And following him are the 2 insurance girls, Millie and Meryl, who work for the Bernard Daily Insurance Company because, when you destroy that much stuff, you're going to have a lot of people with insurance. So they go and try to find him and basically keep him from destroying stuff.
I'm very pleased to meet you. My name is Meryl. I'm Meryl Strife, and I'm here representing the Bernardelli Insurance Society. And I'm Millie Thompson.
But even though Vash looks super cool and everything, he's actually a huge dork, and he doesn't want to hurt anyone, and he's super peaceful.
I loved his portrayal in the anime because of that, too. They keep having, scenes where he looks really cool, but they're always for, reasons that are actually really, really horrible to him.
Yeah.
The scene where, in the intro it's shown, where he's, standing in the wasteland, he's at the coat waving, oh, he looks so cool. Then you find out why he's standing there, and you're like, ooh,
yeah,
gut-wrenching. He's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's really, Vash is the star of the show, and he's done really well. And the entire show is about him and his philosophy, and that philosophy being challenged, and his quest to, find
his
basically...
VA really sells him, too.
Yeah, find ways to save everybody on a world that is cruel and vicious and filled with bad people. So that's what makes Trigun so engaging. And Trigun Stampede is the new version, which I hesitate to even call it a remake because it really feels like it's doing an entirely different thing with its own, with the Trigun setup. So I'll start with
Just to lay down the groundwork, then it doesn't follow the ending of the first show, and it doesn't follow the manga. So it's its own thing. It's a reimagining.
It's got the same foundation as Trigun. So, it is the same setup and backstories and everything.
So he doesn't know the insurance girls yet, and he doesn't know Wolfwood yet. So so he's fresh.
And so basically, episode 1 starts with the backstory. Oh, this is going to have spoilers, by the way, because the first few episodes...
warning, this show is great.
I definitely recommend, if you have any interest in the original Trigun, watch it first. Do not watch Stampede before it, because Stampede runs through so many of the things that were big reveals or twists or whatever back in the original Trigun, but here it just kind of throws them out there and says, this is what happened.
Oh no, it's the Devil Survivor 2 anime.
Yeah, and so basically episode 1 starts with the crash that kind of starts everything. It starts at the beginning. There's humanity is looking for a new, it's got all their but in the spaceship to try and go to find a new planet and stuff like that. And they come across, and then Vash and Knives are there. But the ship's all crashing and everything, and Rem saves Vash and Knives as, the ship's blood. It's the beginning tragedy of the entire story. And that's where it starts. And then after that...
You name your son Knives, you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah. Then after that, it goes to Meryl and not Millie, which is my first big hang-up with this series.
I like Millie.
I know. Millie is great.
All right. Whoever did it, come out with your hands up right now!
Why are you pointing that thing at me?
Well, it was you, wasn't it?
Millie is Meryl's partner, and she's one of the best characters on the show.
Millie is a really important character because she's basically a source of endless optimism. She never gets angry, even when she really wants to.
She's an emotional core, and she's the emotional intelligence of the entire gang, along with Vash. And she's kind of a parallel to Vash, too. Millie and Meryl are kind of a parallel to Vash and Wolfwood. They're really good.
It's like they all have a similar philosophy, but they all have different takes on it.
Yeah.
Millie is more like Vash than Vash himself is, really, because she holds her temper back. Well, there are times where Vash really loses himself, and Millie and everyone else really tries to pull him back.
Yeah. Anyways, so instead of being insurance girls here, Meryl and Roberto De Niro
Is Roberto De Niro the normal guy?
Yeah, they're both reporters, and Roberto is like this kind of like tired old dude who's been doing this for years. He's not necessarily bad. I just don't find him interesting, and he kind of spells out, like, there's a few scenes where he just kind of spells out what Vash's deal is. He's like, you're a mysterious guy. You can't stay in one place even if you want to, and it's fine. I don't really care, but he does not have the same dynamic.
I don't feel like
instead of Millie and Meryl being partners, their new dynamic is Meryl is like the new girl who's hungry and ambitious, and De Niro is the old dude who's like tough and not really tough. I mean,
so
jaded and cynical.
Does that make Millie like the audience surrogate then?
A little bit.
She's new to the world. She's new to Vash.
Kinda.
Because. Millie and sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they are the two that follow Vash, and they go and follow his adventures and stuff like that, and we see from their point of view. But she's not like she's not like nice. Well, she's a little. They've made her much more different character here. She's much more like for lack of a better term, she's more waifu-ish.
Oh no.
Yeah, like
Millie in the original was not Millie.
Meryl.
Meryl in the original though, was much better because of her experience and her stuff. And that's and she kind of was a bit of a cynic, but she wanted to not be a cynic, and and she has those kind of moments that were her parts of her comment, but also her experience makes her really impressive too. Again, like I was saying about the conflicting, they all sort of have the same kind of belief. The four of them, they want to do the right thing. They want to people to come together, but they all have different worldviews. Meryl is a bit of a cynic, is the thing. She kind of doesn't trust people, and she doesn't have any reason to trust people, but she still abides by her belief because she believes it's the right belief. Mm-hmm. So it makes her kind of... she's good, principled, that's the word. She's principled and she's disciplined, which makes her very interesting.
What do we do, Meryl? What do we do? Duh. We run away, that's what.
Yeah, and this Meryl is definitely like a younger character that's like still trying to, she's not as jaded and cynical. She's kind of like, haha, more. She kind of plays into Vash's antics a bit.
What was nice about Meryl too is that she was cynical, but she wasn't jaded.
Yeah.
That was a very important distinction.
Yeah. And Roberto is kind of he's like the mentor, and he's like telling like, here's what you do, rookie, and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's a different dynamic.
It's a different dynamic.
And I'm not sure where... The main thing is I'm not sure where they're going.
You almost have to separate it from the original. Like, this is just someone else named Meryl.
Yeah. I don't know where it's heading is the main thing.
I like the scene, again, spoilers, I like the scene where, like, they're trapped in a bar, and, like, Vash loses his guns, and he doesn't quite know what to do, but then he starts playing up this fake role that he's gonna, like, kill everybody. And then stuff starts happening, and everyone's like, wow, Vash, you're so good. And he's like, no, she's the one who did everything. And she's like, what? And like, yeah, I smelled the gunpowder off you. I knew you were shooting stuff. You're full of guns.
Yeah, it's a good moment.
And then she whips all her guns, and she shoots all the bad guys.
And that's like the one thing about the
she shoots all the bad guys, and she doesn't kill any of them, was the other thing, too. Wolfwood would have blown them all away. That's the thing. That's what separates Meryl from Wolfwood. They're both cynics, but Meryl still, is kind of holding on to that don't kill people kind of thing.
Yeah. Basically, the episode, they're chasing after Vash. They find him. He's all tied up, and like the first time you meet him is he's been strung up by this gang or something like that, and they're like, oh, he's dead already, but he's like, no, I'm still alive, haha.
This is
Stampede.
Like,
who's this goopy? Yeah, Stampede.
Okay.
And then these police guys come showing up looking for them, and they're like, we're gonna.
I'm already.
Where's Vash? And then she's like, he went that way, and they're like, all right, let's get him. And he's like, oh, thank you for helping me. And they take him to the nearest town, where they're like, oh, the Vash, we like you. You helped because you saved us from whatever.
This is episode 1?
Yeah. So this town is this little, I forget what the name was, but this is a little town, and I think it's similar to one that he was in the show. I forget which one it is, but you remember the one with that big dude with the robot spinny arm attacks him?
Yes.
Yes, this is kind of that place.
So we're already there, yeah?
Yeah. So he's there, the people like him, but then it turns out but then they're like, hey, we're having trouble with the plant again. And they do, I think, set up the plants better here. The plants in Trigun are these mysterious alien life form things that can generate matter and stuff and basically make it possible to survive on the desert planet they're on. And basically...
But they still couldn't make Milwaukee inhabitable.
Dang. But their plant is failing, and they're like, we need some money to fix it. And oh no, Vash should, turning in Vash would give them enough money to fix their plant and stuff.
You have to die! It would sure make us all happy if you do.
So, the people all come for Vash, and they're like, oh, shoot. And then the military police show up, I think, and they're like, we're going to take in Vash, and Roberto's like, hey, we'll settle this with a duel. And everyone's like, okay, I guess
so Roberto's going up for sticking up for Vash?
Yeah, for Vash.
Are they friends, or what's going on?
No, they just want Vash to not get taken in because that's their story.
Oh.
Yeah. And so they're like, settle it with a duel. And so like the main police guy's like, all right, I'm going to duel you, Vash. And they're like, are you sure Vash is going to fucking die? This guy's a loser. And then, so it's like, all right, fine. And he's like, so he goes on, he's like, draw your gun. And he's like, no. He's like, draw your gun. And he's like, no. He's like, fine. Then I'll use my random rocket launcher that I had on me this whole time. And so he shoots a bunch of those homing rocket things into the air. And he's like, ha 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 ha. And Vash is like, oh no. So then he takes out his gun to shoot it. And then he's like, click, 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 click. And he's like, oh no, I'm out of bullets. And then it leads into that bit that I showed you earlier where he's screaming. He's like,
he's asking for a bullet.
Yeah, someone give me a bullet. And then, so Meryl gets the bullet, throws it to him.
That's Meryl?
Yeah, that was Meryl.
That little kid?
She's 23. She's your age.
That was Meryl?
That's Meryl.
They look like some kid that just lived there. I was like wondering, I was looking at the kid, I was thinking, what are you asking for a bullet for? What do you mean no one's helping you? We live in a cynical desert wasteland. I'm like, oh, now I'm even more confused.
Anyway,
what?
So that's Meryl.
You're
And
Meryl?
she throws like I said, she's really different. She
Yeah,
gives Vash the
she's
bullet
very different.
after there's like a little action fight with the other military police guy who's like he's just crazy for no reason. I don't know why.
I thought that was like that trailer was
I
from
thought
like
he
the
was
climax. I thought he was like an evil dictator that Vash was killing to save the town from, or a crazy criminal. That was a police dude.
No, he's just a military police.
Why does the police dude have like space turrets?
I don't know. It's they do mention lost technology a few times, setting up that the crash and the technology from it definitely showed up and stuff like that. Anyways,
And he throws the rock and he shoots.
He throws the rock, shoots the rock, and blows up all that stuff. And then they're like, "Ah, fuck, we've been beaten," and they all leave. And
take that,
yeah,
coppers.
And then that's kind of the thing. And then the next adventure,
wouldn't those missiles totally destroy the town?
They would have, yeah. I don't know why the fuck. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get this. They don't set up this villain guy enough to make me believe. I think he should have just been like a criminal gang leader, dude. But I don't know. It was weird to me. It didn't feel very. It feels very rushed. Like there's a scene early on where
it's like I think they had made that fight scene and then they said, "How did we get here?"
Yeah, there's a scene early on where Meryl and Roberto are in the car talking. And there's like setting up, and then the dialogue, the exposition is pretty clunky. It's like, we crashed on this planet how many years ago, and if it weren't for the planets, we wouldn't have survived. And it was like, and this is a harsh desert planet where life is difficult and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, that was very clunky. Thanks for telling it to me, Meryl, who knows this, who's lived here her whole life. I can't imagine that they'll cut out Millie completely, but I really hope they don't cut out Millie completely. But
what if they bring Millie back and she's just a person?
Worst case scenario, I feel like they'll get to the end and then a post-credit scene, they'll be like, Meryl, here's your new partner. Her name is Millie. And you're like, whoa! That's worst case scenario
That wouldn't even make sense, though, because it's like, it was a prequel. It wasn't, though, because she clearly didn't know who Vash was at the start.
I don't know. Yeah. And
I feel like...
And, like...
my prediction about Millie is that at one point in the story, I don't know when, Meryl's going to, like, reminisce about her childhood, and Millie will have been, like, her old friend, and that'll be it. Or she'll mention Millie. She'll either appear in a flashback, or she'll be like, da-da-da-da, like, man, Millie was right, this place is so dumb, or something just offhanded in reference to, I know her, we're friends, the end.
Yeah. Maybe. I just hope they put her in so that the show can be good. But anyways,
Millie was a very strong character.
Yeah, she was really good.
She also had that giant gun.
She did. She had a cool gun. She had a cool gun that shot fucking iron bars that would pin people to the wall.
That happened to be my can of pudding, and you wasted it.
And she was also like 10 feet tall.
I was gonna say, getting to so you're saying that Vash was pretty silly so far in the beginning.
Yeah.
What started this conversation was me kind of complaining about that, because I was saying in original Trigun, I thought the first episode perfectly summed up Vash's character. Like, again, like, it starts where he's just at a diner, the whole diner gets blown away, and then without even moving, Vash is totally fine. He gets up, there's like 8 of the bad guys, there's one of him, pulls out the gun, and then bang, cut to, intro. Then you don't see Vash for a while, and then the next time you see him, he's tied up and pathetic. And then you remember how you got there. So the first thing you see of Vash is he's a badass. Mm-hmm. The second thing you see of Vash is that he's a goof. And then you see him as a goof, still actually kind of being a badass, like getting himself untied, getting out of the situation. And like just like with Millie too, Millie and Meryl like trying to figure out who Vash, they don't even know who Vash is, they're trying to like understand the situation. Mm-hmm. And they kind of witness, just like the audience does, like this guy acts like a goof, but he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And even totally unarmed, in the worst case scenario, he absolutely destroys his opponent. And then the town gets leveled, and he's like, "Oops."
Yeah, and it's really well done. And Vash is all about like switching up.
Yeah.
The mystery is Vash's identity and his philosophy and the switch up you get.
Vash
the fun part of Trigun is that Vash is like the coolest guy ever. He can kick everyone's ass or whatever, but he chooses specifically not to kill people. He chooses to try and find peaceful solutions, and he chooses to sacrifice himself instead of other people to make that happen.
Like
that's really cool.
Vash plays the goofball because he wants to be the goofball.
Yeah,
He's not trying to fool anybody. He's trying to fool himself.
Yeah,
that's what makes him
that's
so
really good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And in this one, I don't like it as much because the first thing you see of Vash is already kind of a doof.
Yeah.
But like actually no,
Yeah.
like the first thing you see of him is him as a child, and you see his tragedy, and you're like, oh geez, what's going on here? And then the next thing you see is that they're in the car chasing after him, and they pull out like, oh, Vash the Stampede, he's this dangerous dude.
Sorry,
but they don't like show you him being cool or anything or dangerous or like. Yeah, just a funny mugshot.
Like what they should have done,
which is like what Tangled did.
What they should have done was like the police guy cheats. He brings like a whole firing squad to shoot Vash, and then they all pull out their guns, and then they pull the trigger, bang, and all their guns go flying out of their hands. And then Vash is cool, and he's like, look, see, I shot you. There you go. I win. All right, I'll be on my way now. And then the guy gets mad, and then he pulls out the crazy rocket thing, and then Vash is like, oh crap. Shoots it he shoots the rocket launcher, so then it points up and then it fires into the sky. And Vash is like, oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. Like, oh no, I just didn't want to get shot. Oh no, how do I fix this? I'll shoot him down. Oh, I'm out of bullets. Oh no. And then you get to that part with him like, so up to that point before the rockets come down, he's like cool. Like he's totally in control of the situation, blows all their guns away. But then he screws up, and then now the rockets are coming down. They're going to rain down in the town. So now he's like, oh, crap, I'm going to blow up a city again. I got to fix this. What do I do? So then I think that would have been a smoother transition.
Yeah, it was
You see him be a badass, then you see him screw up, then you see him freak out, then you see him save the day.
I think the introduction needed to be better. And I get, I get that the pacing is different because this is only going to be 12 episodes as opposed to 26 as the original Trigun had.
I hope they don't bring back Legato Blue Moon.
I think they need to... How dare you? He's the greatest one.
Yeah, but he really worked because he had so much time to work. Like,
exactly.
If they're going to bring back Blue Moon, he should already be there.
Maybe
it
makes the pacing feel really rushed, basically. Yeah. So, like, they go through, it feels really rushed. And I think it's not necessarily, like... I don't know where they're going with it is my main thing. Because, like, right out the gate, you get the reveals, Vash and humanities from the space and everything. And Vash and Knives exist. And, Knives, I think they also immediately say, like, Knives is the evil brother who, he's kind of, like, is...
Knives was kind of just petty, wasn't he? Because when they have like the flashbacks of them on the ship together, they got along at first, but then right from the start they're like, "Oh, Vash, your new haircut looks so great," and I was like, "Yeah, well, look at my haircut," and then
he had like more of a motivation in the manga.
That's just kind of how it started.
Yeah. But anyways,
he wasn't like inherently evil. Is the point I'm failing to make.
But. The pacing feels really rushed. Like, you get that crash, and then you have the clunky exposition, and you're right in the finding Vash, and all that stuff, and it's not given a lot of time to breathe with you, which I think it needed.
Yeah.
And especially because it feels rushed for a Trigun fan, and it feels rushed for a non-Trigun fan watching this for the first time and trying to make sense of it all.
It's like Trigun had a lot of moments of quietness. Those worked really well. Like, again, in the fight with, like, the guy with the big spinny arm, he again, spoilers, he blows up the diner, and he starts laughing, and everyone's like, oh my god, he killed all those people! And then you have just a whole moment of kind of silence where Vash gets up, he just gives him, like, the death glare. He's like, you're gonna pay for that. But before he does anything else, he just slowly carries everybody out of the diner and makes sure they're all okay. And then he gets up and he's just giving the guy the glare. He's like, "All right, but you've stepped in it.
Yeah,
you've messed up the Stampede now.
You need to."
And all that was just total quiet.
And I get you don't get as much time with that with the modern 12 episode anime, but I think you really need to set up Trigun.
JoJo has a lot of quiet too in Stone Ocean. Like when something's freaky, they're like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, JoJo uses a lot of build up and stuff for their adventures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel super well set up, despite trying to get all the backstory in and explain everything, which Trigun didn't do until like maybe about the halfway point.
Yeah.
original Trigun. The first thing Trigun establishes is about Vash. He's kind of the center of the story, and they bring you in with Millie and Meryl, and they show you about Vash for the first several episodes until like episode 5, when there's a real fight and he saves the day and shows that he is a cool dude. And Meryl is like, no, he's not. I can't believe this. He's a loser.
How can you believe that weird guy out there is Vash the Stampede, the legendary gunman? That droopy-eyed, cocky, upside-down-haired women-chasing lunatic who's nuts for donuts and gorges them like a starved hog in heat. You honestly think it's him?
And then after that, you get the gung-ho guns and that whole arc, Legato coming in, making things serious.
Yeah.
It's really good. And
again, Legato worked so well because he had so much time to do that.
And then the thing is, in this one, at episode 2, they come in and I think episode 2 is where the town turns against him, and they're like, we have to capture you and get the monies so that we can save the city. And Vash is like trying to figure out a way to do that. And meanwhile, they're like, oh, these 2 guys have escaped. It's the Nebraska family. And so the Nebraska family the guy with the big punch arm and the evil doctor scientist man who's his father. And so like they're basically coming in, and it becomes a whole crazy thing where like now the Nebraskas are here and they're fighting. It's this big punch arm guy he's shooting, and eventually Vash basically beats them, and he launches a sun, the big punch arm guy, off or like there's during the fight they're on this like big thing, and it starts to fall, and the guy is like hanging off, and he's like and then the scientist dad is like, no, please, my son, help me, and Vash is like, come on, people, help, because he wants to save everyone, and he starts and that's kind of like a good moment, I think, because he's trying to bring together even the people who are, responsible for wrecking the town and shit. And so they do save him, they get everything, and it seems like a happy ending. And it's pretty nice, and then suddenly some weird-looking virus, you know what a virus looks like, right?
Yeah.
Like a creature like that, in that shape, comes in and climbs on the punch arm boy, man, I don't remember the son, and then he's like, and then he blows the fuck up. Right at the end of the episode, he blows the fuck up.
That's a grim way to end things.
Yeah, and then the next episode starts, Vash is like, what the fuck is going on? And
do they blame Vash for that?
No, they find out that all these little virus things are running around and grabbing onto people and blowing the fuck up. And they're like, oh fuck, this is the work of E.G. Bomber.
I feel like what they should have done is just end the episode with the town being saved and then start the next episode with the sun being blown up, because Trigun is usually about horrible things happening and Vash kind of saved the day. The episodes usually end on a positive note.
Yeah, they did. And then the dark turns come later.
Yeah, the dark turns.
Right now, we're right out the gate of episode 3, and it's taken a dark turn.
I think the first time in the original Trigun that an episode kind of ended on a not very happy note was in a really great episode. I don't remember what the villain's name was, but he was like in a big suit of power armor. He's like slaughtering the whole time. They released him to kill Vash, but then he just starts killing everybody. And it's like the first time this is like the first time you see Vash get like mad. Mm. He gets so mad. He starts walking the streets. Again, no music, just Vash, just going like, hey, everyone's dead. You killed all of them. He's like so mad. He sticks the gun barrel right into the guy's eyeball. He's like,
you killed all the people. They're all dead, and you killed them all. And you were the one solely responsible. Now it is your turn to die.
Yeah. But he's like conflicted. It's like, but I can't. And he just stands there staring at the guy for all night long until the sun rises, just not sure if he's going to pull the trigger or not.
Yeah.
But again, that one was like deserved. It was like deservedly kind of dark at the end. And even then, Vash still doesn't kill him.
Yeah, and I think
that was the first time to have.
Yeah, I think it needed to have more of that, of settling into kind of the status quo of Vash saving the day, and be like, oh yeah, nice, before he's suddenly pulling this.
But then there was the other episode where Vash saved the town from all these like crazy gun hooligan guys, and that episode ends with them all getting drunk at the bar.
Yeah,
it was a happy ending. Yeah, hey, everything's great,
and
the whole town came together.
You don't have enough time to do as to do as much of it, but I'd say you need that time to settle in and breathe with it before you can pull the dark twists.
Yeah.
Or the
it's a little too
reveal.
fast.
It's not really
like you're saying,
twist,
it's too
but
rushed.
So
even the Nebraska family in the first season, Vash beats them, and it's like, they get, the town comes together to laugh at them because they're crooks, but Vash ends it, with love and peace.
Yeah.
Love and peace.
So the Nebraska family, they get a little bit more here. At least the father and son do.
They get blown up.
They get to get beaten and then get kind of redeemed slightly and realize that maybe they shouldn't try to kill people. And Vash saved them and the town saved them, so that it's kind of chill.
Yeah.
And then E.G. Bomber attacks, and he's one of the gung ho guns, if you remember.
So they're already starting. So Legato's gonna come back.
So
I hope Legato is.
E.G. Bomber shows up, or as you call him, he's like I'm E.G. the Mine now, and he's got like this cool looking desert wheel thing with like claws on it. It's pretty cool, actually. I think he's a fun looking character in this version. Kind of looks like his spike suit from the original, which was very silly.
I have a prediction.
Okay.
Prediction number one. Two predictions, actually. First one, Roberto will be Legato. Like, that's going to come out, like, way later.
Oh, my God.
After all of them are dead, then Vash is going to be looking for this Legato guy, and then it's going to be Roberto. He's going to say, like,
God.
He's going to be like, how else do you think I knew where you were all the time?
Oh,
you doofus. And the second prediction I'm going to make is that Wolfwood is going to be one of the gun-ho guns.
Well, he already was, sort of.
He was trained by one, but I'm going to say in this story, I'm going to call it right now, prediction, he'll be like a full member, he'll come to kill Vash, and then Vash will win him over, and then, he's going to, like, leave the group.
Yeah. Probably.
That's my prediction.
I wonder if they'll still kill off Wolfwood in this version. Probably, but, I can't be too sure. Anyways, where was I? Alright, so E.G. the Mine attacks the town, and everyone's freaking out, and they're like, oh no, what do we do? And then Vash is like, I have to take him out, and goes after him. There's a whole chase, and he goes after the plant, and he tries to steal the plant, and because there's a subplot that somebody's been attacking the plants, and they look like Vash, and Vash is like, it's my twin brother Knives, and they're like, yeah, okay, sure it is. But it is Knives, and he's using the gun.
So Knives is already here?
Knives, yeah. So E.G. Mine shows up, and then also Knives is there too.
This is the weirdest crossover between Trigun and Scott Pilgrim.
Anyway, so then episode 3, Knives is there too. He shows up, he taunts Vash a bit, and he's got this cool cloak that's made of like thousands and thousands, millions you could say, of knives. That's his name, Knives Millions.
That's really his name?
Yeah, his name is Millions Knives. Anyways, it looks cool in 3D. It sure does look cool, but and he basically fucks up the town. Wow. E.G. Mine is like, oh, master, you're here. I have done as you've asked, and he's like, cool, kills him. And then
that's how I guess that takes care of E.G. Mines.
Yeah, and
I feel like Vash should have beaten the guy.
He does. He has a moment where basically everyone dogpiles him, and he's like, take off the bombs or we'll all blow the fuck up. And he's like, all right, fuck. And
I was going to say, but they should have. I feel like it would have been more old school traditional Trigun for Vash to beat him at his own game, but not kill him. But then the mine guy blows himself up because he can't. He's like, I'll kill both of us with my final bomb.
Yeah.
So
that would have been more.
So he still dies, but Vash doesn't kill him.
Yeah. But, anyways, Knives shows up, he steals the plant and shit, and wrecks the fucking town, and the townspeople are like, you have to go, this shit can't keep happening, get out now. And so he heads out, and Millie and De Niro follow him, and that is, I believe, the end of episode 3, and I believe episode 4 just came out at time of recording, and I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard Nicholas D. Wolfwood finally shows up, which...
Oh.
We'll see
right away if my prediction was right.
He didn't show up until, what episode in the Trigun?
Episode 9.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
I think it was 9 or 10, because I remember I watched that episode a whole bunch. I remember the part...
Yeah, 9 or 10.
The part where they meet is so great.
Yeah.
Thanks for the water, Mr. I can't do the line justice.
So and he gives him the whole fake name.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I am known as Valentinez Alkalinella Zihak Shushiraboherets. Gambigo Bella, Blue Stradivari, Talentrent Pierre, Andre Chartenhemos, Ifano Vinci, Baldos George, Deutzel Kaiser III. Don't hesitate to call.
So basically, it feels very rushed. It feels like we've gone through a lot and also not a lot at the same time. Because Vash has been, he's shown up, he's been cool, saved a town, then the town attacked him, then town got attacked again, then town got attacked again, and it's felt very like the story's not been going much, and then too far at the same time. We haven't had much time to breathe, and it's been just like one thing after another at the same time. But also none of it has really gone anywhere that the original Trigun hasn't.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what's going on. Where are we going with this? Is kind of what I'm interested in, and I don't want to be cynical, but if I'm being cynical, this is a show that has taken the surface level of Trigun and not the underlying themes.
Yeah.
And that's my super cynical take on it, where it's like I'm not giving the show any grace. I'm saying, looking at it, this is what I'm getting from it. But my more optimistic take is that this is going to be leading up to something that will, make it worth speeding through most of the world building and of that kind of stuff. But, I don't know for sure. Can't say until the episode's done, but that's basically my hot takes about Trigun Stampede. I think a show that's doing kind of what I like about Trigun a little better right now is The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian's basically a space western.
It's kind of like Trigun, too. It's a desert planet with cowboys.
It's a sci-fi western. And so Mandalorian has a ongoing plot, but basically most of it is episodic, and I think that's really fun.
It's mostly about the Mandalorian.
It's about the Mandalorian going to different planets and doing different adventures, and helping out or for whatever, and protecting the child that he's got. And there is an ongoing thing. It'll be okay, go to this planet, and they'll help you out here. I'm here for this, and he'll be like, I'm here for this. And he'll be like, we don't have this, but we'll give you this if you help us by doing this. He's like, fuck, I guess I have to do this now. And then he goes and does that.
Is he a principled kind of guy, or does he have a code?
A little bit. He's like a assassin dude, but he has he's not a bad guy, and he starts to soften up a little as he's got the Baby Yoda. Who I refuse to call by its real name. He's always going to be Baby Yoda.
Everybody calls it Baby Yoda. I didn't know it had a real name.
Yeah. Anyways, and it's I think it does a good balance of episodic and continuous, because there is an ongoing thing. You do get to see him kind of evolve, and the episodes flow into each other naturally. Mm-hmm. But it's a new place every time. You don't have to worry about oh, is he gonna, do I have to remember this for this and this, or do I have to remember this and this and that?
Usually when you have to remember something, they give you a recap, too.
They do, yeah. And so that's, Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say.
Watch The Mandalorian. This is now an advertisement for Disney+.
Oh, fuck, I forgot. I wasn't gonna watch Book of Boba Fett, but there was an episode with The Mandalorian in it. I'm like, oh, shit, now I gotta watch Book of Boba Fett.
Someone was explaining to me at work that Boba Fett's ship had to be renamed to just Boba Fett's ship. It was called the Slave One before.
Oh really? They just renamed it?
They renamed it to Boba Fett's ship. They didn't give it any kind of special name. And the guy also said no one in the movies, I didn't watch too many of the movies, but he said no one in the movies ever actually calls it the Slave One. It's only referred to that in a book or something. Or
I remember that. Games. Yeah, I mean when I've seen it, I don't think it matters too much, but I think it's funny.
Apparently this was a bit of a meme, because I remember some people would send
servants with a job is one.
They would whenever they were going to say the word slave, they'd go, that's the slave labor. I mean, sorry, the Boba Fett ship labor. Just this, they make jokes like that. I remember Vinny was doing a Watto impression. He's like, yeah, Anakin was my slave. I mean, he was my Boba Fett ship.
That's a good one.
Okay, that's it. Watch Trigun.
Yeah.
Join us next time when I make you watch the movie.
Okay.
You're really fun to watch.